Our product demonstration. This morning we're going to install some of our Soprasmart board and our Duotech 365 adhesive over our Sopra Vapor. So Ryan's going to put down the Duotech 365. Brad and Alan will be installing setting the boards, and Mike will be making sure we get the laps done correctly. So let's go ahead and get started. Matt Davis is our product manager, and he'll kind of explain the different products we're using today.
Good morning, everybody. As Kurt said, my name is Matt Davis, and I'm the SBS product manager for Soprema. We have a really great demo for you guys this morning. What we're going to be doing is, as Kurt said, applying our Soprasmart 3-in-1 laminated panels over top of our Sopra vapor barrier. So one thing you'll notice, this is a roof deck with a vapor barrier already applied. The Sopra Vapor is a self-adhered vapor barrier. One great thing about it is you'll notice that there's squares printed on the film here. Each one of those squares is 6 inches. So as you're doing your bead spacing in the insulation adhesive, you don't have to worry about marking anything down for 6 or 12-inch spacing. It's just kind of a good guide as you move forward.
So Matt, let's talk a little bit about the Sopra Vapor. Our Sopra Vapor is a self-adhered vapor retarder material. Can you give us a little bit of a background about that material?
Sure. As Kurt said, it is a self-adhered vapor retarder. An interesting thing about it is actually sized a little bit differently than your normal membrane. It's actually sized to be used over metal deck, so that way you cover all the flanges and the flutes in the metal. It is a 5 square roll, so with one roll you do get a lot of coverage, and the self-adhesive on it makes it really simple to use, no priming when you're going to metal, so it really is a great product.
Matt, the 365 adhesive that Ryan is using, I noticed that the guys are putting the boards in directly. We're not guessing at when it's risen or when it's ready to go. What's with that?
One of the great things about the Duotech product, and specifically the 365, is there's no wait time from when you put the product down before you put the insulation panel or whatever board you're putting on top. If it's a cover board, you don't have to wait for it to foam up or rise or anything like that. Once you apply that product, you can put the board right in. As Mike's doing such a great job of doing, it does help to ballast the board, but there, like I said, no wait time when you put that in. That is just a 2-part polyurethane insulation adhesive. We call it 365 because we really wanted to open the window for when you can use these types of products. Normal insulation adhesives have a range of 40 degrees or 50 degrees and rising. One of the great things about the 365 product is that it goes all the way down to 14 degrees. So you really can use it in early spring or late fall. If those temperatures start to get a little bit lower, you can use this product and not have to worry about any temperature restrictions.
So Matt, what's the coverage rate for our Duotech 365?
So each one of these cartridges, you'll get about 150 square feet per cartridge with a 12-inch spacing. Another good thing about the 365 is it's also available in the cubitainers, the larger sets. So it's a 5-gallon of Part A and a 5-gallon of Part B. So if you have a paste cart or any sort of larger applicator, you can use that. We also have it in the drum sets, 50-gallon drum sets. So if you have a very large job, you can use the larger drums for that as well. So not only available in cartridges, also the cubitainers and drums.
So I think if you noticed, Ryan was dispensing a little bit of product at the beginning into the bucket. Why do we do that?
So since this is a 2-part insulation adhesive, as you'll notice, they have the mixing tip on there that has a red kind of twist in the middle of it. So what happens is those 2 parts, as they actually come out of that tip, mix together, which causes the reaction. So what we want to do is when we first start it, we do want to dispense a little bit of material in the beginning just to make sure we get anything that's not mixed properly out, so we can start the actual proper mixing process. It's just a little bit, like I said, just to get that out of the way, and then you're mixing the product properly.
So Matt, let's talk a little bit about the Soprasmart board. This Soprasmart is what we call 3-in-1. Why is that?
So this is actually a really great product. What this is, it actually takes 3 different products, an insulation panel, a cover board, and a base ply, and does it all in one step. So these are actually factory laminated panels that include the base ply to save time and to save labor. In the industry right now, as I'm sure a lot of you know, one of the big problems that we see is not only finding guys to do the job, but also a time crunch. With this product, you can get more product applied faster, and it also saves insulation adhesive and things like that, because one thing you'll notice is, you know, you're putting it down with one layer of insulation adhesive, where normally you'd have to put down your insulation board, then you'd have to come back and put your cover board on top of that, and then attach your base ply. Now you're doing it in one easy step.
Matt, it's my understanding that we've done a time study with this, and is that available for everybody to take a look at?
Yeah, if you get the opportunity, we did make a video of a time study that we did. It's on our YouTube page. We took a much larger roof area and tried to see what the Soprasmart saved you as far as time and labor from a conventional sort of system. What we found is, at a minimum, we're saving about 30% in time and labor cost using this product. So that is a video that we have on our YouTube page, so I highly recommend if you get the opportunity to go take a look at that.
Matt, does Soprasmart come in different configurations? I know this is ISO and a heavy, high-density cover board and a ply membrane. Can we get it in other formats?
Yes, we absolutely can. As Kurt said, this one actually takes a 2-inch, standard 20 psi insulation panel. It has it laminated to a 1/2-inch HD ISO panel with a polyester base ply applied on top of this. We actually do have this product in more of a 2-in-1, which actually takes a cover board with a base ply. One of the options that we see that's very popular is our Sopra board, which is our asphaltic-based cover board with the polyester base ply applied to that. The nice thing about this 3-in-1 product is anytime you have a 2-layer insulation system, you don't have to worry about the stagger joints or anything like that because of those 2 layers. But even with the 2-in-1 product, the Soprasmart is applied a lot faster, saves a lot of time, and as I said before, a lot of material cost as well.
So Matt, I see that we're not staggering the joints. We're lining up all these end laps. Is that a concern?
So what we're going to see here in a minute is how they're actually going to address this joint where all the boards come together here. One interesting thing about this product is all of the side laps. It is a standard 3-inch side lap, but what you'll notice is the inside 2 inches is self-adhered. So you'll come through and you'll release the film, you'll roll that lap in, and you have that first initial 2 inches self-adhered, so it's watertight. Then you'll come back through and you'll heat weld that outside 1 inch, so you get the speed and efficiency of a self-adhered lap with the assurance of that outside heat welded portion. Now, like I said, what we'll see here in a minute is how they're going to address this, the board joints here. As Kurt said, they're not staggered or misaligned or anything like that. We actually take a cover strip called Sopralap and come through and cover that joint there. There is a 1-inch overhang, which you'll notice on this. What that actually is designed to do is when you're using the heat welded Sopralap film, it actually prevents any fire or heat from getting down into the insulation panel, so it is a protective attribute about that product.
So as most of you can see, Mike was already taking the release film out from the lap. So again, that exposes that inner self-adhered part of the lap. What Brad's going to do now is hot air weld the lap. You can also torch this lap down or heat weld this lap. They just frown on us doing it inside the building. So that's why we're using a hot air welder. Is there any other ways to do that lap, Matt?
Yeah, so actually one thing you'll notice is Brad is going through and he's just kind of tacking in that 1-inch, that little strip that comes over the top there. That you can do that if maybe you're not going to come back right away and put that cover strip on, or if you are going to do that cover strip, you don't have to worry about that at all. The Sopralap that we're going to use is actually a self-adhered product. We do have a heat welded version and a sanded version as well. So there are different application options for the Sopralap product.
In addition to the hand welder, you can actually set up a robot welder or a seam welder and weld that lap if you wanted to use hot air, or like I said, you could torch that lap down and seal it off. If like just so everybody's aware, if you put this Sopralap down today or tonight, then you really don't need to do anything with that 1-inch gap. However, if by chance you want to, or this 1-inch lap, if you want to use this 1-inch lap and weld it down to be watertight tonight, you can do that and then come back and put the belly band on later. So Brad's kind of just sealing these edges. We're getting the primer ready. We'll put some primer on. We'll put the lap on. But then you're watertight. You're ready to go.
Yeah, and one of the concerns, as I said before, is especially in the industry now, we're seeing a big problem with labor. You know, finding people to be on the jobs and the big time crunch. So the great thing about this product is not only does it save material cost in you know, adhesives or the way you're putting it down, but it's also a huge labor savings. As I said before, up to a minimum of 30%, even on small jobs. You know, 100 squares or less. When you start to get to bigger jobs than that, the labor savings is really tremendous.
So Matt, what kind of covers can you, what kind of top plies can you put over the top of Soprasmart?
So this does, the membrane that's on top of here is actually a polyester reinforced product. It does come in a sanded surface, which we see here, which we did for a later demo that we're going to do. But it also does come in a film surface where you can then come back through and heat weld a cap on top of this. So if you think about it, with this 3-in-1 product, what you're doing is applying an insulation layer, a cover board layer, and your base ply all in one step. So that all you have to do is come back through in one additional step to put your cap ply down. So really, you're getting a full roof system in 2 quick, easy steps.
So the primer you would normally use is our Elasticol stick primer. We have a can of it over here. Is there any other items, any other types of primers you can use on this?
Yeah, so when you look at primers, we have our Elasticol line. That's our primer line. Normally we do recommend the Stick Zero, but we do also have an Elasticol stick product that you can use. The nice thing about the Stick Zero is it is 0 VOCs and very easy to use.
Brad's going through and hot air welding the rest of the laps. Like I said, there's other methodologies that you can use to put that lap down. We're going ahead and priming this, but like I said, once you're done with this, remember you've got your insulation, your cover board, and your base ply, and you're home free. Matt, we could put an SPS cap on this. We'll show later on where we're gonna adhere a PVC cap. What about PMMA?
Yeah, so one of the great things about this product, especially with the sanded surfaces, you really have a lot of options as far as your cap sheet. As Kurt said, one of the demos we're going to show today at 1:30 is actually our new Duotech SPF product, which is for applying a fleece back PVC in a spatter pattern. So that is new, and it's a really, really innovative way to apply that membrane. As I said before, another great thing is you can come back through with this and you can do a self-adhered cap ply or a cold applied cap, or if you have that film surface, you can come through and just heat weld a cap on top of this. But as Kurt said, you can also use our Alcen RS, our PMMA line, to put a cap on top of this, and it gives you a relatively inexpensive base ply to apply that PMMA on top of.
For those of you that have roof, you understand that we have to let this primer dry a little bit, and having primer dry inside a building isn't the most opportune thing we're doing, but it'll take a little bit for that primer to dry. We'll put this self-adherent membrane down, and then we'll be sealed up and watertight.
Yeah, so just to review what this system is, we had our Sopra Vapor self-adhered vapor barrier down. We use Duotech 365, which is our 2-part insulation adhesive, used down to as low as 14 degrees, so that early spring, late fall allows you to do work even in those little colder temperatures. We use that adhesive to put down our Soprasmart laminated panel. This particular one is a 3-in-1 product. So this is our insulation panel, a cover board, and a base ply, all applied in one step. As we said before, we do have other options that have, an HD ISO cover board panel, or our Sopra board, which is our asphaltic-based cover board with the base ply pre-laminated. So again, it's just a tremendous material, time, and labor savings product.
So now, Matt, this is a 2-inch ISO underneath here. Can we get that in different thicknesses of ISO?
Yes, we can. Of course, depending on where you're at in the country, the R value requirement is a little bit different. So we can do anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches, all the way up to whatever sort of thickness insulation you need to get your R value. And again, normally with the system you do it in 2 layers, so you can have a layer of 2.6 inch ISO with a Soprasmart panel that has another layer of 2.6 on top. If you're looking for that high R value, so it really is a very great product.
So at 1:30, we'll be, like Matt said, we'll be demonstrating the adhesion of a fleece-back PVC membrane directly to this with our Duotech SPF adhesive. We'll also show you at 1:30 how you can use those same containers of adhesive and ribbon apply insulation. So you can use the same product to do a couple different things if you want to. We're still just giving this primer a little bit more time to dry up.
Yeah, and then our demo at 3:30 will actually go over our new self-adhered product, our new Sure Stick, which is a whole new self-adhered system for Soprema. A lot of interesting things to talk about for that, so I would invite you back at 3:30, at 1:30 and at 3:30 to see both of those demos as well.
Do we have any questions that Matt or I could help you with? Other than letting the primer dry and getting this lap in, we very much thank you and look forward to seeing you back here at 1:30.
And if you do have any questions, once this demo is done, we do have a bunch of people around that can answer any questions, or feel free to come up to me or Kurt. We'll be happy to help everybody.
The question is what's the exposure time on the base? So it really depends on where you're at, and I'm not trying to avoid the subject, but we can have an exposure of 30 days, 60 days, somewhere in there, 30 days usually, but it really depends on how much UV exposure it gets and dirt, to be quite honest. So if we can keep it reasonably clean, 30 days is not a problem. Anything else we can help you with? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much.